Hello everyone, welcome to Kids Auto and Truck Repair. Today we have a 2003 Bluebird school bus with a C7 cat engine. This school bus has an Allison transmission. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do a transmission fluid change and filter change. So now let's go under the bus and do that. Here is our transmission. So right off the bat, what do you notice around the bottom of the transmission? So this area over here is dry, but this area is wet. So the filter gasket in here is leaking. Okay, so this is the first filter mount, and then this is the second filter mount. So the second filter mount is not leaking, but the first one is. Okay, we're gonna replace these two filters, and we're gonna replace the O-rings and the gasket for the filter as well. Now, before we do that, we're gonna have to drain the fluid out of the transmission, and the transmission drain plug is right over here. So here is our transmission drain plug. We're gonna undo this drain plug so we can drain the fluid. I'm gonna use a regular 3/8 extension to undo the drain plug. So here comes the drain plug. Oh, this transmission fluid does not smell good. Okay, so we're gonna let the transmission fluid drain. When the transmission fluid finishes draining, then we're gonna remove the transmission filters. Our transmission fluid is almost done draining. So now we're gonna remove our transmission filters. To remove our transmission filters, we're gonna have to undo these 6 bolts over here so we can remove this plate. After this plate comes off, the filter is gonna come with it. And these bolts are 15mm bolts. I'm gonna undo this bolt, and then we're gonna undo these 6 bolts over here as well so we can remove this plate also. These 2 plates are the same. They are interchangeable. You can put this one over here or this one back here. They're both the same. And they only go one way. Okay, so you cannot get them wrong, or there is no point of marking them. They're both the same. So I'm going to remove the filter on this side first, on the driver's side. So I'm gonna crack all these bolts. And all these bolts are all the same length, so it doesn't matter which one goes where, they're all the same. So now we're gonna use a pry bar to pry this plate down. Now I'm not removing these bolts completely, because if you do, this whole plate is gonna fall. So just leave these bolts on just a little bit, and right there. So now here comes our first filter. So here comes the first filter. We're gonna do the same thing over here to remove the second filter. So I'm gonna pry this filter plate down just carefully. So here comes our second filter. Here is filter number 2. So we're gonna let all the fluid drain out of the transmission, and while we wait, we can go to the bench and get our new filters prepped. We are here at the bench. Here are our old filters. So we're gonna remove our old filters from the mount. So you just pull this out like this. And here comes the old filter, so we're gonna get it out of the way. We're gonna remove the second filter just like that. Now these plates are both the same, okay? They're both identical. So now what I'm gonna do is I am going to remove this gasket over here. We're gonna make sure we remove this gasket. So I'm using this razor blade to remove the gasket. So I'm carefully peeling the gasket off. What I like about these filters is that these filters have one gasket and then 2 O-rings. So there's extra sealing that goes on here. There's this paper gasket that we have to replace, and then we have 2 more O-rings up here that need to be replaced as well. Alright, so we removed the paper gasket, okay, that goes over here. Now the next step is going to be removing the O-rings. So here comes our first O-ring, and then there's another small one over here, okay. So now we're gonna clean this filter mount. I'm gonna remove this gasket off camera. I'm gonna get these 2 pieces cleaned, and then I'll bring you guys back up so we can install new filters on these 2 filter mounts. I have cleaned these 2 filter mounts. So now we're going to install our new filters on these filter mounts. So here is our pair of filters, and we got these filters from Allison right there. We got Allison genuine parts here, and here is the part number. I hope you can see right there. So that's the Allison part number. So we're gonna get these filters out of the box. Now these filters are identical to the old ones. Okay, they all look the same. we have a gasket set in the box. Here's our gasket set, and we have some instructions. Now we're gonna install our O-rings first on the filter housing. I have a little bit of transmission fluid over here, so I'm gonna apply a little bit of transmission fluid on these O-rings. So I got our O-rings installed, so that's good. Now there is another O-ring over here on the filter, so we're gonna apply a little bit of transmission fluid in here. And then we're gonna push this down, just like that. And then we're gonna install our paper gasket. So just like that, this one is prepped. So now we're gonna prep the other one. All right, so we got our two filters prepped and installed on the housing. So now we're gonna install our drain plug O-ring. Actually, the drain plug O-ring is very messed up. I don't know if you can tell. It's very bad. So we're gonna install this new O-ring on the drain plug. Okay, so we're good to go. Now before we go under the bus and install our new filters, let's look at our instructions here. What I'm looking for is our torque spec for the filter housing bolt. So here is our torque spec and our torque sequence for the filter housing bolt. The torque spec for the filter bolt cap is between 38 and 45 foot-pound. And then the torque spec for the drain plug is between 18 and 24 foot-pound. And these are our filters on the transmission, and these two are our filter caps. We already installed these O-rings and gasket on the filter caps, so we're good to go. So now let's take these filters to the transmission so we can install them. We're gonna install our drain plug. We're gonna wipe these surfaces down. Here comes our first filter. I have 2 bolts on the filter cap just to guide the gasket. Here comes our second transmission filter. So everything is lined up. So now I'm gonna torque the filter cap bolts. I'm gonna torque these filter cap bolts up to 42 foot-pound. So the first one is torqued. All right, so we torqued all these bolts to 42 foot-pound. So now we're gonna torque the bolt on this filter over here. Same torque spec, 42 foot-pound. So we have torqued all the filter cap bolts. So now we're gonna torque the drain plug. I'm gonna torque the drain plug to 19 foot-pound. I hope you can hear the torque wrench click. So just like that, the drain plug is torqued. So now let's go in the vehicle and put transmission fluid in the transmission. We're gonna open the engine cover so we can get access to the transmission dipstick. Here is the transmission dipstick, and this is the engine dipstick. So I'm going to pull out the dipstick. We're gonna use this dipstick to check the transmission fluid level. Now we're gonna use this funnel to put fluid in the transmission. Now here is the transmission fluid that we're gonna put in the transmission. And this transmission takes 19 quarts of fluid. All right, guys, I have put 19 quarts in the transmission. So now we're gonna check our transmission fluid level. Using our dipstick. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but our transmission fluid level looks normal. So that's good. So now we're gonna drive the bus back and forth in the shop so we can go through the forward gears and reverse. That's gonna allow fluid to circulate through the transmission, and then we're gonna check the fluid one last time, and after that we should be good to go. So now let's drive the vehicle. I'm gonna start the engine first. Actually, while we're here, let's check our engine oil level. The engine oil level is normal, so that's good. So now I'm gonna start the engine. I'm gonna drive the bus back and forth here in the shop. Okay, let's check the fluid for the last time before we wrap up this video. Perfect. Our fluid level is normal. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, the light is shining on the dipstick, but our fluid level is correct. I have put 19 quarts of transmission fluid in the transmission. So our level is fine, so that's good. We're good to go. Once again, this transmission takes 19 quarts of fluid. So that's it. I'm gonna leave this right over here. This is how you change transmission filters and transmission fluid on this Bluebird school bus with the Allison transmission. I hope you liked the video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give it a thumb down. But if you do, you gotta tell me why so we can make better videos in the future. If this is your first time here, subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. If you're already a subscriber coming back to watch this, I would like to thank you. If you have any comments, questions, criticism, leave them in the comment box. Thanks for watching. See you next time.